Zenon refers to Sid as the stray dog that has been snapping at their cult lately, but also mentions that the bases he destroyed were just the weak links of the cult, and currently he is standing in front of one of the core members of the cult. Zenon warns an unbothered Shadow that he is going to kill him to pave his way into the round of knights as the 12th seat. With this dramatic statement, he charges at Shadow to stab him only for a loud noise to occur, but no impact. As the dust dissipates, both Alexia and Zenon are shocked to find Shadow moved from space and now standing in front of Alexia. Shadow mockingly asks where the core member of the cult is that is going to hunt him down. The monster continues to walk around the town, destroying buildings and hunting down the ones trying to hurt it. The soldiers are shocked to see the monster having healing abilities, making it hard to take it down. As the soldiers command them to evacuate the place and go all out on the monster, Iris jumps down from a building, hurting the monster pretty badly. However, the wound is sealed again, but Iris is not the one to back down either. She cuts off the other arm of the monster as well, attacking it until it slams into a building. The monster regenerates the cut-off arm and tries to fight back, angering Iris even more. She goes all out on the monster with her attacks, leaving no space for it to defend. She keeps inflicting wounds on the monster before it can heal any until Alpha appears there standing between the two. She calmly mentions that Iris is making her suffer even more than she is already doing. The monster tries to attack Alpha, but it flies high up in the air and then shoots herself down towards the monster, consoling her that she is going to free her from the pain and sadness she is in. With that, Alpha launches her attack on the monster, but this attack doesn't harm the monster. Instead, it transforms it back into the human she was before. A pendant drops on the floor near the unconscious girl, which Alpha picks up and takes her leave after introducing herself as the Shadow Garden and telling Iris to sit back and enjoy the show. Iris is confused about the events, but puts her priority on finding Alexia. Zenon and Shadow are in serious combat, but Zenon decides to accept the tiniest underestimation he has for Shadow. However, he is mistaken if he thinks he is underestimating Shadow only a little. Even with an increased magical aura that is impressive for Alexia, Zenon does not manage to make Shadow falter. Instead, he's thrown down by Shadow, earning another mock about his future round's obsession. Pressed by his words, Zenon starts attacking Shadow violently, but it is of no use as Shadow keeps defending himself with a fighting technique that's referred to as bland and ordinary. Alexia notices how the fencing skills match hers. This technique and its smoothness make Alexia appreciate her fencing for the first time in her life. She now understands that Iris's praise for Alexia's fencing was genuine. The same ordinary fencing is capable of inflicting a wound at Zenon. Alexia is shocked to hear about this Shadow Garden and some Cult of Diablos. Zenon tries to show off his power by taking out some pills that can give someone power so immense that they can even die of the overwhelming feeling, but he is strong enough to maintain this strength. A transformed Zenon, referring to himself as the Third Awakened, prepared to fight Shadow, who seems bored of all the drama. As Zenon attacks Shadow, he calls it unsightly and blasphemy for calling himself the All-Powerful. Shadow decides to give him a show of what all-powerful is by throwing punches at Zenon and backing him up until he loses balance and falls. He breaks the bottle of pills, humiliating Zenon for calling himself powerful with borrowed strength. All of a sudden, a cylindrical shield is created in a radius around the two. Zenon questions it, so Shadow decides to narrate the story of a guy who trained hard to be strong enough to withstand a nuclear bomb, but he couldn't do so. Hence, he decided if he could not withstand an atomic bomb, he should choose to become one. This statement is haunting enough for Zenon, but before he can do anything, Shadow casts his spell, causing an explosion huge enough that its impact covers a good amount of town and can be seen by everyone. The members of Shadow Garden spread around the entire town are fascinated by the view, while the rest of the town worries. Iris runs towards the ruins, worrying about Alexia. After the explosion, Alexia stands there unharmed by it and picks up the sword nearby. She starts attempting her usual fencing moves, probably accepting her love for her technique when Iris finally finds her and hugs her. After a long time, Alexia finally reciprocates Iris's feelings towards her. The next day, Alexia and Sid have a chat about there being more stuff to this plot than what meets the eye, but for the world, this case has been closed for good. Sid, maintaining his background character, sounds bored about it and is about to take his leave when Alexia nervously calls him out and thanks him for praising her fencing style back then. She mentions him not being the reason she likes it now, which is a detail Sid believes was unnecessary for him. Alexia chuckles at that and stops him from leaving again, wanting to keep up the relationship act for a while, even if Zenon has disappeared. Sid smiles beautifully at her and tells her he'll pass in the most enthusiastic way. Alexia also breaks out into an equally sweet smile before we get to witness a great amount of blood splashed onto the wall of the building. Sid refers to it as one of the greatest mysteries of school when people witness so much blood, but nobody is nearby. The members of Shadow Garden feel good after witnessing their boss's show the previous day. After the usual briefing, they get to the issue of someone pretending to be Shadow Garden. They decide to hunt them down no matter how well they hide their tracks. Iris talks to Glenn and Marco about not being able to trust anyone as they were unaware that one of their most renowned instructors belonged to a cult whose work they are still unaware of. She decides to create an investigation team, including the two in the meeting as the sole trusted members for Iris. They only have one clue for now, and they don't even know how that thing works. A girl walks into the school with a bunch of books in her hand, one of which seems to have some information about the clue Iris has. The girl bumps into a bloody Sid, who is ranting about Alexia being more of a killing machine than a princess. Sid asks the girl if she is fine while helping her out. Mysterious murder under the name of Shadow Garden is exactly what Alpha was previously talking about. One of these people claiming to be of Shadow Garden killed a person while chanting "I am Shadow Garden" mindlessly. After failing to get any details about the broken relationship between Sid and Alexia, Skeel and Poe express their wish of wanting to visit this fancy place that sells chocolates. Sid agrees to accompany them since he wants to know how the chocolate of this world tastes. Iris assigns Sherry Barnett, the girl who previously bumped into Sid, to work on the details of the artifact that was found in the ruins of one of the bases of the Cult of Diablos. Sherry wonders why they'd assign her, as she is still a student, but even as an undergrad, her skills surpass many professional researchers. Her father encourages her to take the job as he has confidence in her, not only as a father, but also as an authoritative figure in the Midgar Academy. Iris decided to assign the Crimson Knights to protect Sherry and work with her. The Crimson Knights are the ones Iris shortlisted as the definitive loyal knights. Alexia also expresses her wish to work on this, as she wants to know what is happening around her. Even though reluctant, Iris gives in to her determination. As the three clowns stand outside the chocolate shop, they get worried about wanting to get into the dorm by curfew when Poe mentions a killer lurking around the town at night. As they stand in front of the window of the shop observing their decor, the lady from before approaches Sid about filling out a survey. Skeel and Poe wish to do so, but she only wants one person. Sid follows the lady inside, but she doesn't seem to stop anywhere. The two keep going inside until they finally reach a large hall where a bunch of women are bowed down in respect of City. As expected, the woman was escorting Sid towards Shadow Garden. Gamma stands on the stage where the throne lies, smiling towards Sid. Sid is amazed to know this business belongs to Gamma, and she became filthy rich just by using the knowledge he gave her. Even so, he does not consider her combative strong. The reason is visualized the next moment when Gamma classily trips down the stairs of the stage and yet welcomes Sid with a bloody nose. As Sid sits on the throne, he loves the feeling of all the members either bowing down or looking up to him. He truly has become the eminence in shadow. As a reward for this, he illuminates a purple light that falls beautifully on everyone like a fountain. Gamma is fascinated by the sight, as it reminds her of the light when she was saved by Sid. These two are the memories she'll always cherish. Acting all bossy, he asks if Gamma's business is earning her a good profit, but not in his 2 lifetimes. He expects her to tell him that the business has numerous franchises in all big cities inside and outside of the kingdom, and they have 1 billion Zen at their immediate disposal. Sid is lucky he is sitting at a distance from them. He cannot believe Gamma used the random knowledge he shared with her to build this good business. Briefing about the killer, Gamma assures Sid that they will find the culprit real soon. Sid suddenly recalls his blood ruthlessly splashed on the school wall just to reject Alexia. He tells them he might have an idea about who it is. The girls praise his intelligence, unaware of how good his flukes are. He is introduced to Nu, the girl who escorted him, about how her skills are acknowledged by Alpha as well, so she will certainly serve as a good asset. Sid suddenly turns to Gamma, asking her to give them 3 of their cheapest chocolates, while discreetly using his shadow manipulation skills to steal a coin that is already considered his by the team. Poor Sid. Gamma offers nicely to give him the best chocolates for free. At night, the 3 run to reach the dorm before the curfew when Sid feels a commotion in an alley nearby. He can tell swords are being used, but he can't tell Skeel and Poe about it, so he uses the best excuse to ever exist. He starts shaking and falls, holding his stomach and telling them that he needs to take a dump immediately, as he cannot control it anymore. His friends are shocked yet proud of their friend for keeping his priorities straight. They appreciate Sid's acceptance of taking a dump in public. Sid screams for them to go as he cannot take it anymore, while the two scream with tears of pride, telling him they'll never forget him and his sacrifice to dignity, nor will they tell anyone about it. As the two run, Sid turns towards the alley. He thinks the culprit is Alexia, who has finally lost her mind. He thinks to himself about respecting her life choices, but he cannot forgive her for using their name. His whole self-speech goes to waste after he witnesses what's going on in the alley. Alexia is there, but she is the one fighting the imposter rather than being one. Alexia is fighting one of the imposters. She manages to defeat him, but his fellows arrive. Alexia is doing good until her arm receives an injury, slowing her down and cornering her. Before she can get hurt, Shadow arrives in the middle of the opponents and saves her. The imposters flee after Shadow warns about not sparing them for using their name. Alexia tries talking to Shadow, but he tells her to keep out of it. As the imposters stand on a roof thinking they successfully got away, Shadow appears there, killing one of the two. Nu praises her boss about his skills, telling him to leave this one to her to get information out. Shadow leaves the imposter at her mercy, but Nu is sure to clear out that she is not as merciful as Shadow, and that trying to attack her was the mistake of this imposter. A few people are casually talking about their fellows being caught and killed. They ask some gaunt knight about the next step, but he seems to have found the location of the item they are seeking. Alexia and Iris discuss the murders not being the cause of Shadow Garden. Alexia asks who the real enemy is between Shadow Garden and Cult of Diablos, but Iris thinks they both are villains for creating havoc in her kingdom. The next day, everyone knew about Sid publicly crapping his pants. His best friends sure know about keeping secrets. Sid chooses to ignore this, and the three focus on Operation Gift Giver. After Skeel and Poe are brutally rejected and probably even beaten up, Sid, who is already disinterested in himself, decides to give the chocolates to the first girl he sees. He gets up from his desk in the library and passes by Sherry, who just came there. He handed her the box and left without much. Sherry is confused about this. At home, her father is happy that someone likes her and gives her chocolates. He wants her to work hard, but also live her student life normally. Even though adopted, his love for Sherry is genuine, and he is confident that she will find an answer to the artifact.